Hey, we're doing another Before You Buy. You know, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. Today we're talking about Borderlands 3. It feels like it's been a really long wait for this one, but it's finally here. And it's absolutely more Borderlands. With what we've seen of the game so far over here, they didn't really screw anything up, at least almost. Borderlands 3 is a ton of fun, and it improves upon the formula, pretty much established by Borderlands 2. You know, it cleans everything up, it makes it better. It's a bigger and fresher Borderlands. It's just got some technical issues here and there. But full disclosure, this is first impressions. 2K sent us a review copy of the game, but not early, so we've probably played about as much as some of you out there. We just wanted to put something out there to keep some of you buyers informed. Borderlands is a lot of game, and we're also going to try and keep it spoiler-free here as much as possible. So, anyway, for me personally, I enjoy the Borderlands gameplay, but not much else. Like, I played the hell out of 2. But for the longest time, from now until then, I still couldn't put my finger on, like, why the hell do people go so crazy for these games? Why do they fall head over heels in love for them? They're fine, but I don't know. But I think I get it by this point. It's definitely apparent with 3. Borderlands is like a social experience for some. It's like why some people love MMOs or Destiny or whatever. Playing with friends is better. Grinding, leveling up, getting better loot, you know, no matter the structure, be it live service, massively multiplayer, whatever, it's just more fun with friends. And thankfully, Borderlands 3 is pretty seamless when it comes to playing together. It's easy to hop in, it's easy to hop out and transition back on your own. And I always need to give bonus points for including split-screen couch co-op. It's here. Although, there have been some reports of technical issues with it, and I'm really hoping they get around to fixing that quick. Apparently there's lag issues, and apparently there's only one option of how the screen orientation is. They just need to fix this quick, because that's how some people, including like some couples, prefer to play. But really, multiplayer in all of its forms of how you do it is the name of the game here. Gotta give props for that, but what you're doing, you're shooting. That's really the name of the game, like lots and lots of shooting. And it feels good. I'm not an expert on like, you know, minute tweaks to FPS games, but it feels like Borderlands, just a tad more modernized. Movement feels a little faster, jumping is a little less cartoony, and the slide works really well. It feels good. We've all been playing here, so I have footage that's a mix of both mouse and keyboard and controller, so you can really see depending on your preference or how you play. Bottom line, shooting and movement feels as fun as it should. It helps that the pacing and the enemy variety is solid, though. Borderlands never really had a problem with shaking up things you were shooting for hours and hours, because if there were only a few types of bad guys, things would just get boring. But over the course of my hours and hours of just shooting, I was shooting quite a bunch of different things with different varieties, so it kept me interested. It helps, too, that they put tons of work into the guns here. Like, not only do they feel really good, but they have an immense amount of differences between them. How they aim, how they fire, and more. It's genuinely really surprising. They really seem to have put their money where their mouth is with having a bajillion guns in the game, or whatever they said. Also, the frequency of guns having an alternate fire mode is also a cool thing. A simple hitting of a switch can give many guns a different fire rate, maybe turn it to a grenade launcher, a taser, switch between different elemental effects, a huge amount of different things to make a lot of guns feel purpose-built and totally unique. I'm genuinely impressed. Like, there's a lot of stuff to pick up at an alarming rate, and you're gonna want to upgrade your backpack slots once you get into the Sanctuary, like, ASAP. Now, speaking of, I love the spaceship, the Sanctuary, as a hub. It's great. It's filled with a bunch of cool little secrets. You can add little trinkets and decorations to your room while you're tweaking your skins or your guns, and every character serves as kind of like a unique purpose in their own little area. Now, the ship is tricky to navigate. It's almost overly complicated, but I don't know. It's just a fun place, and I found myself popping back in there a bit more often than I needed to. Now, the playable characters themselves are varied enough in typical Borderlands fashion. I mostly main Zane, who honestly, like on screen, might be the less exciting new character. He seems to be way more like the typical soldier type, but with some new twists. Honestly, he's really simple, and his abilities and upgrades are a bit more on the technical and numbers size than anything else, because like on the other hand, Moses' mech, was like an incredibly nice change up. It's super fun, and I loved having one in my group. Also, at times, I found it refreshingly challenging. I really felt myself like faced with the fact that I would have to go back and do some more side quests and get stronger, because I'd be getting my ass beat. Maybe not like because of my skills or my actual level or anything like that, but with the guns I had access to. Also, I really want to acknowledge the grenades for a second, because they're really coolly implemented. Like, when Borderlands 2 tried to kind of rethink what reloading means and like what happens with what's left over, Borderlands 3 tries some really cool concepts with grenades that I just found really enjoyable. And really, between grenade mods, character mods, and shield mods and stuff, there's a lot of tweaking, character tweaking, that you'll probably dig. So, wild grenades, guns with legs, exploding guns, multiple players using all their powers at once, combined with just often cool boss or scenario encounters, made for some surprisingly memorable moments here. The game gives you 2 difficulty modes to start with, and then after you beat the game, you get access to another one, I believe, so I think there's a good amount of stuff on offer here for that. Progression is also pretty much what you'd expect with some nice little twists. Like, I really like the option to have instance loot where everyone gets their fair share instead of fighting for one gun. The game gives you the option at the start to play with the new way of the loot or the old-fashioned way, and I always applaud player choice when it works in that regard. Now, with progression, I did have some really annoying glitches on PC, though. The character screen would often feel really laggy, and dropping or doing stuff with certain guns or items in my inventory like wouldn't actually leave sometimes. Like, I had to fight with it here and there. This stuff, these menus need to be quick because you're constantly in there. They need to work, they need to be easy, they need to be user-friendly. Weird glitches made things in inventory stick around longer than they should. Also, I had a really frequent glitch where I'd go to level up and drop a point in a skill. The cursor would get itself stuck on one tile and wouldn't let me move to any others. Like, it happens a lot, and will probably be fixed in a patch soon, but it's weird. The sooner the better with glitches like this, because like in some games I can overlook it, but here it took the wind out of my sails a little bit. They sound small, but they're fairly important issues, and for a game like this stuff needs to run like butter. And it's glitchy and at some points, you know, a little poorly optimized. I just really hope these fixes come quick, man. Also, the other thing, the story and the villains. Now, at one point in videos, we said we didn't want Handsome Jack to get like overused and brought out for another game. We wanted something new, something fresh. But I just didn't really find myself caring much about the twin villains here. But to be completely honest, I just play these games for the gameplay, not so much the story. There's a surprisingly strong focus on Lilith here. At points, it's really her arc, her story, which was a bit more than I expected, but ultimately, I think it's the humor. Straight up, I just don't think the game is that funny. A few chuckles, yeah, totally, but like with a ton of misses. But hey, that's fine, don't yell at me, okay? Humor is totally subjective. It's my other secret hobby, like I get it. It's different for everyone. Different people have different senses of humor for things, so I'm not gonna knock the game for that. But that's just me. Ultimately, I think the biggest thing here, if you're a die-hard Borderlands fan, there's a lot to like. It's, like I said, more Borderlands, the guns are more fun, the new skills are exciting, the character skins and the heads in particular are really dope, but the new planetary system is damn good. Exploring new worlds helps with variety, and some locations and looks just really made me go, wow. And I loved exploring, especially when some of the environments are really, really catered to the vehicle stuff. I found a lot of that. I found like the actual act of going to a new place, checking it out, shooting new things. One of the highlights of the game, more than the progression, more than the loot, more than that stuff. But maybe you're not a diehard, so to you, it's just more Borderlands. Either way, though, that's not an insult. The graphics are better, the worlds are bigger, and they put a lot of focus on endgame content and how the game keeps you busy after you finish the story. The campaign will probably take you quite some time, but then you have the Guardian ranks to work through, which replace the badass ranks from the previous games. There's arena stuff, and just generally more for you to parse through. So, really, like, it's not my favorite game in the world, but that's, again, personal taste. There's a lot of content here. Fun gameplay, and it's better with friends. That's the bottom line. Borderlands 3 is a simple one. But this is a before you buy. You know how this works by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion thrown in there. So now I want to hear yours down in the comments. Chances are, if you're a fan, you've already jumped in. I want to know what you're thinking. Maybe you're not a fan. Maybe this is your first Borderlands. I want to know your perspective. Maybe you just don't play these games at all. Why? Let's talk about any of this stuff down in the comments. And if you learned something, maybe click the like button. That's the best way you can help us out. We would genuinely appreciate that. But also, if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, dude, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Get to cover! I'll hold them off! Bloody!
I want that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Bloody hell, that got